What is he drinking today?
It's a protein shake with 3 shots of coffee in it, aka the fucking dream. Not bad, actually. I bought like 10 of them. I've got them on Amazon. So one free 1-day delivery. I'm just ordering just like 3 crates of protein shake. You can't stop me, Amazon. Deliver it to my front door. I'm a copy of Mortal Kombat 11. Hurry up.
You're still waiting for that?
Yeah, still. On my table. Fucking Amazon, get on it. Right. Yeah, we're going to take Amazon down with this channel. Fact Fiend, Amazon.
Fact Fiend versus Amazon, the fight of the century.
Have you seen that Amazon is suing the Amazon because they want the domain name Amazon in that country? And they literally, it's like, but we're the Amazon. And Amazon.
Your name exists.
Amazon.com's like, nah, though, we've got money. So they're going to win. What an evil company. This is how they've got like tracking bracelets on people who work in warehouses. And they get so scared of going to a toilet because it tells you where they go to a toilet. They just piss in jars. Amazon's evil, folks. The T-1000 is amongst the most terrifying and eminently recognisable villains in pop culture. It is a tireless killing machine that can run forever, assume the form of a loved one, and stab you in the dick with its own dick. It's also a role that the actor playing it got by staring into a camera for about 5 minutes straight.
Before we get on to casting the T-1000,
yes.
What are the origins of it?
Yeah, 'cause it does seem a bit weird, doesn't it, that the T-1000, especially like played by Robert Patrick, like, you know, quite a lithe gentleman, to like be the foil to the T-800 or T-850, depending on which film. I forget which one it is in Terminator 2.
He's the model T-101. Oh no, it's the model 101.
It's model 101, which is supposed, which is the framework they put on it, and it's a T-800 underneath. But we said this before, and someone like smartly corrected us, presumably like pushes some glass onto the bridge of an nose, going, well, actually, it's the T-850 in that film. And now I forget which one it is. So Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, let's put it that way. It seems a bit weird to place like this, what amounts to just a guy, which to be fair, that's what Robert Patrick is. He's just a dude in it, against like just the Austrian oak himself. And the idea was like when James Cameron's thinking, okay, I need to think of like, you know, something I can face off with the T-800. So that's Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger. Going bigger and badder is not going to do it because Arnold Schwarzenegger is like the width of a fridge at this point in time. It's like there is no one out there bigger than him that will just not look stupid, considering that we established in the first movie that these things are designed for infiltration above all else. And there's a lot of like criticism about that, isn't there? Like, oh yeah, the T-800, that's not going to get anywhere for infiltration. But you don't know this, folks, but if you were buff in the 80s and you were naked, you'd get anywhere. Because that's a common criticism of the Terminator movies, isn't it? It's like, oh, the T-800, the T-850, it's designed for infiltration, but it looks like a huge Austrian bodybuilder. You say, well, to be fair, would you stop Arnold Schwarzenegger walking anywhere? And it always baffles me that in the start of both the first one and the second one, a guy who is 6'4", clearly weighs like 280 pounds of solid fucking muscle with a penis the size of a baseball bat, is walking down the street. It's like, that's not a guy you fuck with, is it? Like, you do not fuck with that guy. And like, he walks into the bar and you get like all the bikers start a fight with him. It's like, really? Like, do you think you're going to win this fight? And do you ever hear what Arnold Schwarzenegger did for that scene?
No.
Because he wanted everyone to, like, you know, look surprised when he walked in. So he wasn't actually naked, but what he did is he bought the smallest pair of, like, budgie smuggler board shorts he could find. I think they're, like, bright pink, and wore them. So when he walked into the bar for the first time and all the extras were in there, their reaction was, like, one of shock to make it like he had a giant cock.
When people were looking down, like...
That's a genuine reaction because he walked in wearing bright pink, like tighty whitey shorts. Because you think you can find a behind the scenes photo of it, and it's just Arnold Schwarzenegger just stood with his fucking tiny little shorts on, and all the extras are just laughing their ass off at it. And I think that's a gambit that could have gone really wrong because obviously he walked in, people got shocked. But what about if he'd walked in and they all started laughing? That does not look good for the
team. Laughing and pointing at his crotch.
It's like, what is that? That's... Like, that could have gone really poorly, but then again, would you laugh at that man if he walked in? I don't care if he walks in and looks like he's got a bird's nest down there with like a quail's egg in it. I'm not laughing at that fucking dude. He's clearly big enough to end my life. He can change like my destiny with one punch.
I like how the Terminators were made for infiltration, and clearly Skynet thought ahead to the point where it might, like, people might see its dick. Because when they first designed that, they weren't going to send it back in time. They didn't know that it would appear naked. They designed it to infiltrate...
We've talked about this before, haven't we? The Terminator has to have a dick.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, when it walked into the bar naked, people would say that guy has no dick. So the Terminator clearly has a dick, and our theory is that he's just super ginormous.
So why did they come up with the T-1000 as a counter for the Arnie one?
Yeah, you just don't, because we've got to get it wrong regardless, aren't we? We've already pissed someone off in the audience, so you know what? Fuck it, right? Well, the T-1000 was envisioned as being like the perfect counter to the T-800, because I think in the words of James Cameron, if the T-800 is going to be a Panzer tank, the T-1000 is a Porsche. And that was his thinking, the T-800 is like brute force. The T-1000 is efficiency. It's like, one's a sledgehammer, one's a scalpel. And the latter is arguably better suited for covert infiltration and time murder, which is why they also gave the T-1000 abilities better suited for that sort of thing, such as being able to mimic other humans, change its voice, and turn its fingers into knives, which I think is the best ability ever. The fact that it just turns its fingers into knives.
You say that, but turning it into a floor is also pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's so good. That's an ability you should have used all the time. So when you see that's probably the part of the movie where I realise the T-1000 is unbeatable. They cannot top this as an opponent in these movies, because the fact it can become the fucking floor is ridiculous. So what do you do? When it's a T-800, just be distrustful of all large buff men. When it's a T-1000 after you, though, you've got to be distrustful of the fucking floor, ceiling and walls. You could walk into a blank, featureless room and not know for sure there's not a Terminator in there. That's terrifying. That's psychological warfare on a level I can't even comprehend.
Just notice that your floor is 1 inch higher. So I don't remember having to step to get into this room.
Well, that's the thing, because no one notices it, and he just turns it. Or he can walk through the bars and things like that, which makes me think if he can turn it into a floor, he can Glacius his way into any room he wants. Just imagine for a moment, it's oh god, we've got this steel door. He's not getting through this, and oh wait, there's what's that inch thing at the bottom? Oh, that's so air can get in. That's what I imagine. I imagine it's like Glacius in Killer Instinct. He turns into a puddle and travels along the floor and then comes out with a Shoryuken. I bet the T-1000 can do that shit. If it had more time, it could have pulled it off.
The only flaw in his plan is that he murders everyone he comes into contact with.
Yeah.
If he'd done that in a way where it was complete, you didn't know he was there. But wait until someone was out of the house and then became that person and then disappeared before they came back.
Yeah.
So the fact that he leaves a trail of bodies means that you can track him down.
But at the same time, it's so much harder to track the T-1000 because it can be anybody. Yeah. The T-800 has a distinct look. The only reason the T-1000 assumes the look of Robert Patrick is it's just I guess the amalgamation of just ordinary guy faces. That's create a character face number one. It's at any point during that film, it could have turned into somebody else. He just assumes the form of the police officer because a police officer can travel anywhere unimpeded. He can walk into any place of business, anywhere in a city at night, and most people wouldn't bat an eye about it, which is why that Terminator is so fucking clever.
Particularly because he takes the identity from an existing policeman.
Yes.
He also has the car, presumably takes the badge with him.
Yeah.
The weapon that guy has.
Yeah.
It's basically all he needs to do is change. He makes his own clothes, doesn't he?
I think it does, yeah.
Which is weird. Do they feel like clothes?
I don't know. It might do.
I always wonder what does the T-1000 feel like. Does it look real but feel metal?
We don't know. I know. You do know a little bit, because I think in a deleted scene towards the end of the movie, do you know where it's in the steel factory?
Yeah.
It's in the steel factory. After it freezes, it loses its ability to maintain its form properly. And there's a deleted scene where it puts its hand on a metal pipe, and its hand starts turning into the metal pipe, and you hear a distinctive metal thud as it does it, which makes me think it feels like metal, like solid metal as it moves.
But then if it's turning into metal, then it would make a metal sound.
Well, it's not turning into metal, is it? It's just revealing its true form. We don't know. It's described as a mimetic polymer alloy or whatever. So I think it feels like metal, and so it doesn't have to go in that. It doesn't have to go in like the Terminator. So Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator feels real, because obviously, you know what? Let's move past that. We've got more stuff to talk about.
So what look did Cameron have in mind for the T-1000?
He actually had a very specific look. So specific, in fact, that all the concept art of the T-1000, after the basic idea for it had been established, resembled exactly one man, Billy Idol, the musician, who was in line to play the T-1000, but apparently fell off a motorcycle prior to filming and couldn't commit to the role, necessitating a recast Enter Robert Patrick.
The irony that he fell off a bike.
Fell off a bike, yeah. The T-1000 man. The most skilled time assassin known to fiction. Guy who's going to play it falls off a bike.
So Robert Patrick wasn't chosen for the role, he auditioned with everyone else?
Yes, but his audition stood out to James Cameron because Robert Patrick did some research beforehand and went, okay, what am I playing? The T-1000, an unfeeling killing machine from the future. And he knew he was coming in for a screen test. He went, well, a robot wouldn't say anything, so I'm just going to go in there and not say a fucking word. And according to him, he walked in, I said hello to all the producers, and said, okay, Patrick, or Mr. Patrick, whenever you're ready, show us what you've got. And he waited, and he stood, and he turned towards the camera, and he stared directly into it for about 5 minutes straight without saying a word. And I think the stare he did was like the now famous T-1000 stare that Robert Patrick always gets asked to do. And I think there's a clip out there of him doing it as an older man, he can still fucking pull it off. And there's an interview with him where the interviewer asked him to do it, and he goes, I'm sorry I can't, because I can't maintain that level of intensity right now. Which means you think he practiced at home, which he must have fucking done, because obviously he got the role. James Cameron watched back all the footage of all the people who come in to audition for the role and said, Robert Patrick was the only one who actually scared me, so he got the role. Because all he did, imagine though, flicking through it, you get all these people like I'm guessing there's some people who try to chew the scenery, be like over the top terrifying.
And walking like robots.
Yeah, and you get one guy in, you move to it, it's just a guy staring at the camera for 5 unbroken minutes without blinking. You'd be like, that's my fucking T-1000 right there.
Blink?
No. It's one of the things Robert Patrick did while training to be the T-1000, he learned not to blink. And I think there's someone who went through the film recently and he blinks like twice on screen. And one of them is when he's firing a gun. I
know one of them is he's firing like a gun about 20 or 30 times.
He fires a 16-round magazine and reloads it in the space of about 15 seconds, during which he blinks, I think once. I think he blinks once, but Robert Patrick maintains that he didn't blink at all. But obviously you can go watch the footage and find out for yourself, because I think he does blink every now and again, and Arnold Schwarzenegger did the same thing in the first Terminator movie, where he tried not to blink on camera, as little as possible to sell the fact this is a machine. And that's just like fucking commitment right there, isn't it? Because Robert Patrick did the same kind of weapons training as Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he did all of this in secret because he didn't want anyone to see like how he fired the gun. And he said, I spent most of my time practicing how to fire a gun without flinching or blinking, and also learned to fire it with both hands. Because I'm a robot, I don't have like a favoured hand. Robots aren't right or left-handed. They just do what's most efficient at the time, which is why throughout the movie you'll see him use his right and left hand depending on what's most efficient at the time. Yeah. And it's crazy. And as well, he learned to reload without blinking or looking at the gun, which is why in the scene we just mentioned where he empties the clip in a pistol and reloads it without looking at the gun is so fucking impressive. Because people can't do that. John Wick can't do that. Like John Wick always has to look at his gun. The T-1000 fucking doesn't. So in that vein, let's go for the most impressive feat of shooting in a movie. Because we can start with the T-1000, because not that scene. I'm going to say the scene where it's in the helicopter, where it reloads a gun while flying a helicopter. Because we've talked before, haven't we, about something you never noticed and other people didn't notice, that the T-1000 makes a third arm to reload the machine gun so it can fly the helicopter, shoot and reload all at the same time. And that to me is a fucking baller-ass shootout scene because of that.
And also throws in plot holes to why he didn't do stuff like that more often.
Well, it could have done, but he wanted to maintain a basic human form. But it's so good. I love that scene. But all the stuff the T-1000 does looks amazing when you read about what Robert Patrick did. Oh yeah, I learned to control my breathing, so I never appeared to breathe when I'm walking about. And that's why he looks so scary when he's doing shit, 'cause it's he's not blinking and he's not breathing, he's just shooting a gun and trying to kill me. Oh.
So we're talking about cool, gun scenes.
Just the most impressive feat of just gun fucking foogs. John Wick's a good one, isn't it?
I was going to say Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Gun cats.
The fact that they had an actual gun martial art.
Which improves, is it the fighting, is it the clerics they're called?
I think so,
It improves the fighting, it improves the combat efficiency of a cleric by 80% by just doing sick dance moves, just firing in every direction at once.
It's they move step by step, and every time they point their guns in random directions.
Well, I think it makes sense in the context of the film. It's we're removing all emotion from, there's no emotion, So like the T1000, the only thing that you should care about is efficiency. Because if you've got no emotion, you've got no fear. So you don't worry about being shot yourself, which is what a lot of like combat techniques are favoured by. So no, you're here to kill. And the most efficient way is you apparently just spin like a jackass, firing a gun like Bayonetta or some shit. I'm going to throw another one out there, and it's Dante from Devil May Cry 4, specifically when he shoots his own bullets into the back of a sword to like drive it into a statue, so the guy who's trapped inside the statue for story reasons can grab it and cut his way out. Something he also does in Devil May Cry 3 when he's running down the side of a tower and he throws his sword and then shoots it so it goes faster. It's so good, man. Oh, have you got any?
Which game is it where the two characters engage each other and start shooting each other, but all the bullets hit in midair? Is that Devil May Cry?
That's Devil May Cry, yeah. When you fight Dante, whenever you shoot him, he shoots your bullets out of the air. But then again, like another example of that is in like Red Dwarf, if you've seen it.
Yeah.
In Red Dwarf, like, which is a British sitcom like set in space, they go into like a VR world where I think it's Daniel Jules, the cat, they go into like cowboy world and he becomes the Riviera Kid. And like he steps up to someone like, I'm the fastest hand in the West. He goes, well, I'm the Riviera Kid. And he shoots bullets out of the fucking air. And it's like, what? How did you do this? You crazy son bitch. I love it. What other crazy bullshit with guns are we missing? Because there's one in my head, and what's the one where they can like throw bullets?
Throw bullets?
They throw bullets. Like they throw the gun and the bullet moves.
You mean Wanted?
Yes!
Curving the bullet.
Where they curve the bullet around the room, and then Angelina Jolie does the greatest feat ever, where she shoots a perfectly circular bullet and kills everyone, including herself. She does that is the most perfect 360 no-scope ever seen.
Because not only is she doesn't move in 360, the bullet moves in 360.
And she gets like an I think she gets a Kilimanjaro, and then she kills herself and leaves server. Do you know why? Because they keep trying to make a sequel to that movie, and Angelina Jolie's like, no, I'm dead. Because everyone in that movie...
No, because what they can do is put some weird gel on her head so it gives her amnesia.
Apparently they keep trying to make a sequel to that movie, but because everyone in it dies, none of the actors want to come back.
McAvoy and Pratt are still in there.
Oh, man.
Chris Pratt's
Chris Pratt's in that. He's fucking his girlfriend. If we're talking about like shooting bullets in angles they're not supposed to go, how can we miss Revolver fucking Ocelot?
You can't.
Like at the start of Metal Gear Solid 3, where you can headshot people behind cover by deflecting bullets off the wall, man.
No, it's Metal Gear Solid 1 where you first meet him and you have no idea what's going on, but he's on the opposite. You try to get into cover and he shoots you.
Yeah.
How's he shooting you?
Because
his bullets move in slow motion so you can dodge them.
Because he's that fucking good, man. He does it on purpose. He knows. But like that first scene where you just encounter Ocelot and he does all that cool shit and then Snake comes and goes, but I invented CQC though, didn't I? Bwah! And then you see him like, no, but I can do like, fancy anti-B combos, which is pretty sick.
So Robert Patrick was training in secret for the role?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, he trained with like the gun expert on set, but he didn't want anyone to see like how he moved or anything like that, so it'd be more of a surprise when he actually like showcased it on set.
I assume part of this training was the run.
Of course it was, yeah. And Robert Patrick says like, the run especially, I kept that shit hidden. I didn't want anyone to know like how fast I could run, because then it'd be like the shock and surprise that it would evoke would be more genuine when it was captured on camera. And I think on the commentary track for a special edition of Terminator 2, Robert Patrick goes like, one of the most difficult aspects of the training was learning to run without showing any outward signs of fatigue. Because obviously I'm a robot, I don't get tired. And he's like, that's the hardest part, because obviously I had to learn to breathe through my nose and not look like I'm knackered, even though I'm sprinting at like cheetah speed. And the most hilarious part about this, though, is that he actually trains a little bit too hard. Because the first scene where we see the T-1000 just haul some fucking ass?
Yeah, after the mall.
After the mall scene where, little John Connor gets on his motorcycle and the T-1000 chases him the fuck down. Robert Patrick ruined that shot because on the first day of filming, when he debuted The Run, he caught John Connor. He caught him. So the film franchise ends right there, because that scene, remember as well in that scene, John Connor's on a fucking motorcycle, and Robert Patrick, he says like, they shouted action, I kicked my way through a door and sprinted through a bush, and I see little Edward Furlong on a motorcycle, and I caught him, and like the crew's like, how fucking fast are you? And he went, I guess I'm pretty fast. And they had to reset all the stunts in that scene and change the timing on them because they assumed that it'd be running a lot slower. And after the fact, a crew member come up to him and said, oh yeah, we clocked you with like a speed gun or something, and you're running at 15 miles an hour. Which might not sound that fast. I think like sprint speed for like professional athletes is up there at like near 30 miles an hour, I think is like Usain Bolt's top speed. But think for a moment about like how Robert Patrick is running in those scenes. He's not running 100 metres. He's running like 400 or 500 metres at a time in full police uniform, police shoes, while not showing any outward signs of fatigue or exhaustion, while simultaneously breathing through his nose so he doesn't look like he's tired.
Why did Robert Patrick feel the need to hide the fact that he was training to sprint?
What, really, really fast? Well, think about like the first movie, Brad. How often do you see the T-800 move any faster than just like, a brisk walk?
He doesn't. He's more like a classic horror movie.
Yeah.
He sprints like once.
Yeah, Terminator 1 is a slasher movie. And I'd argue that the Terminator in that movie is more akin to like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. The final part of that movie is an unkillable monster chasing a waitress around a warehouse. It's basically a slasher movie, and Terminator 2 is an action movie. And it goes back to that reasoning James Cameron gave, like the T-800 is a tank, the T-1000 is a Porsche. Like the tank can batter through a wall, I'll be back, smash through a wall and a police car shoots everybody. That's fucking terrifying. Do you know what was also terrifying though? Looking out your rear view window and just seeing a police officer with knife hands just dun 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 at top speed for about a minute straight. Because the one part of Terminator 2 that I don't like is when the T-1000 stops chasing the car. Do you know when they start to take off? I would have loved it if it was like It Follows. Well, like, they drive for like a good 5 minutes or something like that. Jody does the bit thing like, you've got no headlights on. He goes, no, I see everything. And you see him, you can see all the road with his like robo eyes. I'd like him to look in the wing mirror and still see Robert Patrick still sprinting behind them in the background. The entire movie should have been that. From the moment they get into that car, the movie should have been like Mad Max Fury Road. It's just one man running as hard as he fucking can with knife hands, just as they're shooting endless shotgun blasts into his face. It's like, it's not stopping him. It's like, you're not gonna. He's gonna keep coming.
It would have been a very different movie if that had happened.
Just turns into Mad Max.
What I can't help but think about is you said that Robert Patrick originally caught young John Connor.
Yes.
How shit would the Terminator feel? Like the T-800 stepping out of that building and just seeing that he's fucked up already.
Immediately, like he was on a motorcycle. He had like something that can go up to like 60, 50 miles an hour. Because I think it's like a little dirt bike, isn't it? It's like, no, he caught him on foot. It's like the last remnants of the human resistance ended by just the T-1000 just punching him in the back of the head with his knife fists.
The T-800 steps out, mission failed, deactivates. Like, fuck's sake.
Just explodes. I love that idea of that. Robert Patrick trained in secret on the first day of film and he caught John Connor. I kind of wish that was the ending to that film because then they'd have never made Terminator 3 or Genesis. And then we could have it'd be a bittersweet ending, but it'd be better than what we got.
You know how we were talking about Wanted earlier?
Yes.
And we've just said about how the T-1000 could have caught John Connor immediately.
Yes.
There's that scene where Angelina Jolie is pressuring McAvoy to get the shot, and it's like she's like, you'll curve it because I'm stood here and you'll curve, and he doesn't. And now she just put the bullet through her head.
Just shoots Angelina Jolie in the first 3 seconds of the movie.
He just runs away, goes in hiding. That's the end of the film.
The thing is, I love Wanted because there's that great. It does something that I don't think any other film about superpowers or pseudo superpowers has ever done. And it's Joey shoots the wings off the fly.
Yeah.
And it looks so cool in slow motion when he goes boom, boom, boom. What it does, it smash cuts to showing you what it looks like to everyone else in the room. And it just looks like he's panic firing at a fucking waste paper bin with a pistol. And I want to see that in movies more.
That's like that scene in Endgame with Chris Pratt dancing.
Yeah.
The music out.
Yeah, they cut the music out. Like, oh, it looks cool from his perspective. Let's look at it. Let's just shift over 30 degrees and see what other people do. Oh, he's a fucking moron.
Like a fucking idiot.
So just sits screaming into a space lizard. So, there's that scene in me and my friend, we love that movie. And because we watched that scene there, it's like when I play Rainbow Six and a guy surprises me and I just go, I just panic fire into his dick region. It's so good. Oh, man. Speaking of Gun Fu and Rainbow Six, I've got to mention it. Me and a friend of mine, we used to play a lot of Rainbow Six, like Terrorist Hunt especially. And he pulled off what I think is the coolest move I've ever seen. Like, John Wick, eat your fucking heart out, because he was fighting some terrorists, and I got killed. We were playing co-op, and there was one terrorist left, and he's on a rooftop, and my mate goes, for Karl, and he pulled out a Desert Eagle and ran towards the terrorist who had a burst fire, like, submachine gun, and my mate went, huh, and the terrorist fired a burst fire there, and he went, huh, and dodged to the side, burst fire again, burst fire, and he got that far away from the terrorist and put the Desert Eagle into his character model and just went, for Karl, and just pulled the trigger. And then just like, comes up, you win, fires the Desert Eagle into the air, just empties the clip for my honour. I want to see that from another angle. I want to, it's like the Halo 3 style theatre mode, and just see this like Rainbow Six operative just dodging point blank range gunfire with a pistol and just putting the gun in the terrorist head. So, oh man, that game was so good.
Talking of seeing things in games from other angles, a few weeks ago we did that stream where I introduced you to Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
We found our way flying around the map on a hoverboard doing a T-pose. And we were like, because there's it was around the main city, we were like, wonder what that looked like from other people's perspectives, and we'd switch camera to them. So these people having a proper gunfight.
And behind, in the distance, it's like, oh, God has entered the battlefield.
Just a T-pose banana flying at high speed around them.
It's like, you know what? Yeah, you do you, man. I respect it. All good.
It annoys me in a game when you're like in a multiplayer game like that, when you're trying to have like a jokey bit of fun, and someone will just shoot you.
Oh yeah.
It's like I saw one.
Don't have fun.
Yeah, you do like an emote, and you just stood there like just dancing, and someone just shoots you. It's like, God, mate, you've got no fun.
Yeah. The guy who walks into the middle and points an RPG at the floor. Yeah. That's me.